Hello everyone. In this lecture video, I am going to talk about the posterior compartment of the forearm, otherwise it's also called as the extensor compartment. The extensor compartment comprises of the extensor muscles and blood vessels. The deep fascia of this compartment is thickened at the back of the wrist to form a band which is called as extensor retinaculum, the function of which is to retain the tendons of extensor compartment in position. The floor of the compartment is formed by the posterior surface of radius, ulna and the interosseous membrane that holds both the bones together. The bones that are palpable at the back of the forearm are the posterior surface of olecranon process, the posterior border of ulna, ulnar head and its styloid process, head and styloid process of radius, the dorsal tubercle at the distal end of the radius. The extensor muscles are grouped into two, superficial and deep. The superficial group of muscle consists of brachioradialis, extensor carpi radialis longus and extensor carpi radialis brevis. So these three muscles are present across the lateral border of the forearm. Extensor digitorum, extensor digiti minimi, extensor carpi ulnaris and anconeus are the other four superficial group of muscles. The deep muscles include supinator, abductor pollicis longus, extensor pollicis brevis, extensor pollicis longus and extensor indicis. So most of the superficial muscles except brachioradialis, extensor carpi radialis longus and anconeus, they take a common origin from the front of lower part of lateral epicondyle of the humerus. Posterior interosseous nerve, which is the deep branch of radial nerve, is the main nerve that supplies the posterior compartment of the forearm. In fact, all the extensor antebrachial muscles are supplied by posterior interosseous nerve except the brachioradialis, extensor carpi radialis longus and anconeus, which are directly supplied by the trunk of radial nerve. The principal arterial supply comes from the posterior interosseous artery, but in the lower part it is supplemented by the anterior interosseous artery. Talking about the superficial group of muscles, the superficial muscles are 7 in number, that is grouped into lateral and posterior groups. The lateral group contains brachioradialis, beneath which there is extensor carpi radialis longus, beneath that there is extensor carpi radialis brevis. So these three muscles extend along the radial border of the forearm. The posterior group includes from lateral to medial, if we see, extensor digitorum, extensor digiti minimi, extensor carpi ulnaris and anconeus. The abductor pollicis longus, extensor pollicis brevis and extensor pollicis longus, even though they are belonging to deep group of muscle, they emerge downwards and laterally from the undercover of posterior group and wind superficial to the lateral group of muscle before reaching the thumb for insertion. So this is a brief introductory video of the components that are present in extensor compartment.